Welcome back to the channel, crypto enthusiasts. Whether you're a seasoned investor or just dipping your toes into the crypto waters, today we're diving deep into one of the most discussed ERC20 and BSC-based projects out there, Onyxcoin XCN. So grab your notepad because what we're about to explore could shape your next move in the crypto market. Current market snapshot. As of today, the price of Onyxcoin XCN stands at 0.18262 with a 24-hour trading volume of approximately $59.54 million. That's a pretty healthy level of liquidity for a mid-cap altcoin, and it signals that traders are actively engaging with the token. The market capitalization currently sits at $612.10 million, which positions Onyxcoin as a notable player among altcoins. In fact, with a market dominance of 0.2%, it may not be leading the market just yet, but it's certainly carving out its niche. The price has climbed 1.28% in the last 24 hours, showing short-term bullish momentum even amid a broader consolidation phase across many crypto assets. Historical price performance. Peaks and valleys. Let's talk about where we've been, because understanding the past helps decode the future. Onyxcoin hit its all-time high AT on May 27, 2022, soaring to an impressive $0.83593. That was during a bullish phase across much of the crypto market when liquidity was high and sentiment was euphoric. But just like many altcoins, XCN wasn't immune to the 2022 bear market. Fast forward to August 28, 2023, and Onyxcoin touched its all-time low of 0.5 W's. That's a staggering decline of more than 99.7% from the 8. And yet, here's the kicker. Since that bottom, Onyxcoin has made a massive recovery, climbing as high as 0.4899, which marks the cycle high post-crash. So yes, XCN has seen volatility, but it's also shown the resilience to bounce back, a trait long-term investors always watch for. Current sentiment and technical indicators. Right now, the sentiment around XCN is bullish, and that's not just based on price action. Sentiment indicators such as social volume, development activity, and on-chain metrics have all started trending upward. The Fear and Greed Index currently sits at 70, which falls squarely in the greed zone. That means investors are feeling optimistic. But remember, greed often precedes corrections, so timing and strategy remain key. From a technical analysis standpoint, the 50-day moving average is starting to curl upward. The RSI, Relative Strength Index, hovers near 60, suggesting moderate bullishness without being overbought. Trading volume has steadily increased since early Q2 2025, confirming stronger price movements. Supply and inflation. Tokenomics breakdown. Onyxcoin currently has a circulating supply of 33.52 billion XCN tokens, out of a maximum supply of 48.40 billion. That's about 69.3% of the total supply already in circulation, a fairly high ratio, which usually bodes well for price stability in the long term. However, one thing that needs attention is the yearly supply inflation rate of 20.12%, which means 5.61 billion new XCN tokens were minted in the last 12 months. High inflation can dilute the token's value if not offset by increased demand or strong utility. Some investors see this inflation rate as a red flag, while others view it as a necessary mechanism to fund the network, drive ecosystem growth, and incentivize stakeholders. So, should you worry? Not necessarily. It depends on whether Onyxcoin can keep adding real-world use cases, partnerships, and user adoption fast enough to outpace that inflation. We'll get into that next. Ecosystem and sector performance. According to sector rankings, XCN is currently number 40 among Ethereum ERC20 tokens. It ranks number 11 in the Binance Smart Chain BSC sector. It also holds number 34 spot in the US-based crypto projects category. Why is this important? Because sector rankings show comparative strength. Onyxcoin's dual compatibility with Ethereum and Binance Smart Chain gives it cross-chain flexibility, a crucial feature in a multi-chain future. Its position among U.S. SaaS-based crypto projects also adds a layer of regulatory familiarity. With potential future U.S. regulations coming into play, having that domestic positioning may turn into a long-term advantage. Recent monthly performance. In the last 30 days, Onyxcoin has dropped mighty 11.78% against the U.S. dollar. It's down minus 46.17% against Ethereum. and minus a 29.75% against Bitcoin. These numbers might raise eyebrows, but let's provide some context. April and early May 2025 have been rough months for most altcoins. Bitcoin dominance has surged as investors flee into relative safety during regulatory uncertainty in Asia and the US. As a result, many mid-cap tokens, especially those like XCN with high circulating supply, have taken a hit. But as history shows, these correction phases often set the stage for accumulation zones before another leg up. Chain Games comparison, lessons in volatility and growth. Let's pivot for a second to Chain Games Chain, not to confuse it with XCN, but to draw some parallels. In 2021, Chain Games saw a meteoric rise of 1,367.72%, growing from 0.1072 to 0.157069. But in 2022, the price plummeted by minus 88.93%, down to 0.17385. This roller coaster behavior is not unique to Chain. It's emblematic of mid-cap altcoins that experience viral adoption, speculative spikes, and sharp corrections. Yet over the last 6 years, Chain Games still averaged a yearly growth rate of 241.4%, showing that long-term holders were rewarded. The takeaway here? Onyxcoin may follow a similar pattern. Wild swings in the short term, but high potential for compounding gains if adoption continues and utility expands. What's driving XCN's future? Here are a few key drivers investors are watching when evaluating the future of Onyxcoin. Ecosystem expansion. New partnerships, DeFi integrations, and Layer 2 bridges can bring more real-world utility to XCN. The more people use it, the more scarce it becomes relative to demand. Institutional involvement. There's growing speculation that XCN could be integrated into compliance-focused financial platforms, especially if it continues aligning with regulatory frameworks. Developer activity. According to GitHub trackers, developer commits and ecosystem tools for XCN have been increasing, signaling that builders are active. This is usually a bullish signal for long-term growth, community strength. XCN's social media presence, particularly on Twitter and Discord, has been gaining traction, with a loyal fan base emerging. Staking and DeFi yield opportunities. The introduction of staking could help absorb excess supply and provide incentives for long-term holders, stabilizing price swings and reducing selling pressure. Risks and cautionary notes. No crypto is without risks, and Onyxcoin is no exception. High inflation rate. At over 20% annually, token dilution is a concern. Regulatory headwinds. If U.S. regulations clamp down on token issuance or staking models, it could impact Onyxcoin's path forward. Competition. Tokens like Chainlink, Link, Stellar, XLM, and even newer ERC20 projects are fierce competitors in the smart contract and tokenization space. Volatility. As history shows, XCN is prone to large price swings, which can wipe out gains for short-term traders who mistime the market. Strategy Corner. How are smart investors playing XCN? Here's how experienced traders and investors are approaching Onyxcoin. Dollar cost averaging, DCA. Buying small amounts regularly to average out price volatility. Technical swing trades, using support resistance levels from historical charts to time entries and exits. Hold for fundamentals. Long-term believers in Onyxcoin's mission are holding through market cycles, banking on future mass adoption. So, where does that leave us? Onyxcoin has shown it can survive severe market downturns, stage strong recoveries, and attract interest from both retail and institutional circles. While it's not without its risks, the current bullish sentiment and development momentum suggest that XCN is far from done. Whether you're looking to diversify your portfolio or are curious about the next potential breakout star, Onyxcoin deserves your attention. Just make sure you're doing your own research, DYOR. If you found this deep dive helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Got thoughts on Onyxcoin or other hidden gems in the crypto world? Drop a comment below. We love hearing from you and discussing insights with the community. Until next time, stay smart, stay safe, and keep exploring the future of finance.